my gosh. Oh, I have this turned up way too high. That's... Oopsie. Fun audio balance issues. I had it turned up for something else, and, that's not what I want. There we go. Hello, hello. Oh, hold on. Everything all fucked up. There we go. This game actually has a custom cursor, so I can have capture cursor turned on. I forgot I had a little pet. Hello. Oh. I just got an achievement for petting my pet. I don't think I'm ever gonna get to 80 bravery in time to fucking dare him to do something. Everyone's all grown up. Man. So cute. I'm like half stressed. I have increased physical skills. What do I get for lookout duty? Realistically, I should do this. Just fucking try to max out perception. You show up bright and early for muster with the other garrison recruits. It's mostly younger people. The older, more experienced security officers are all posted up for guard duty. Nem is here, though, her rowdy red hair tied back into a poof. She shoots you a grin as she falls in formation beside you. You shift from foot to foot awkwardly, not sure where to put your hands. Nem nudges you with her elbow and just gestures that you should stand like her, with your hands clasped loosely behind your back. You manage that just as Security Chief Rhett comes to speak to the recruits. Good morning, recruits, he calls, his voice cutting through the still morning air. He pauses, looking at the assembled band of motley youth, and taps his ear. Salute him. Oh, ew, I don't want loyalty. Rhett crosses his arms. Well, we'll be working on that, he says. Working in the garrison isn't like other jobs, children. Here you'll be expected to give 100% every day. If you burn some food in the kitchen or shovel the wrong pile of dirt in geoponics, it's no big deal. But here, it can be a matter of life or death, not just for you, but for everyone in the colony. Loyalty, dedication, self-sacrifice, and honor. These are the soldier's creed. Rhett says, steely gazed and even. You wonder how many battles he saw on Earth. Just like your mom, he doesn't like to talk about it. This is not the place for half-assed kids to run around and play soldier. You look around awkwardly at the other recruits. Isn't this a little intense for lookout duty? Rhett catches your attention wavering and speaks directly to you, staring right in the eye. Laziness and ego have no place here, he says. If you slack off and let something slip past you, you could die. Your friends and family could die. This isn't school, he booms. This is real life. Real danger. If you even blink too long, we're all dead. Take the no-blink challenge seriously? Let's do it. It hurts your eyeballs, but you stare Rhett down until he actually laughs? Well, he cracks a smile anyway, and looks away first. Nice. I won the staring contest. Ugh. That's the spirit, Solane, he says, clapping you on the shoulder. I don't mean to scare you kids, he addresses the rest of the group, but I really do need you to know that this isn't a fun little game. You can't sneak your little friends into the watchtower. You can't work on your homework. You can't catch up on sleep. Even though lookout duty seems like an easy job for kids to do, to keep busy, it's very important. I need you to take it seriously like Solane here. Let's do it. I don't have any red cards, so that kinda sucks. 28? I disagree. Plus 6 perception, though. Ooh, we're close to maxing that out. Hello, Nem. Anyone got anything for me? No? Okay. I'm just gonna do that again then. Wait. Okay. There really isn't anybody for me to talk to or anything to do. Look at duty. Your solo watch is interrupted by the sounds of soft footsteps padding down the wall towards you. To your surprise, Governor Udicott stops next to you and stares into the wilderness as well, her gnarled brown hands resting on the wall. I often come out here to think, she says. She's talking to you? It's hard to hear your own thoughts when you're cooped up inside command. You must get a lot of time to think out here, don't you, Selene? Thinking's not my job. Yeah, I do. Udicott smiles and gives you a knowing glance. I'm sure, she replies. She sighs and tightens her hands on the railing. Sometimes I look down on the colony, she says softly, and sometimes I look out into the forest. No matter where I look, I think about every hardship we face and every one we've overcome. I think about what we're doing here, the things we're taking and the footprints we're leaving. She huffs a humorous little laugh. I wonder what the animals think of us, she says. Cutting down trees, building our big walls, trying to grow our funny little alien plants. It must be so strange to them. This planet hates us. The wilderness doesn't care about us. Without turning to face her, you tell her it's just survival of the fittest out there. The jungle doesn't have opinions on us. We're either prey or predator, that's all. Udicott seems to think this over, going quiet for a... Typo! Going quiet for a long time. You stand in contemplative silence and observe the forest until she leaves without saying goodbye. Ooh. Hello!
Uwu Alexii 20 lurk.
Uwu. 10 months. That's wild. Look at your pretty little cloud in a bottle. It's purple. I think this is the best I can do. Yep. Hello. Howdy, howdy. How are you, minds? The only bad thing about wigs is, the fact that they stick to your face and are very obviously plastic and therefore feel awful. Ooh. Slip past all path-blocking explore events. If I want to, that is. Cool. Wild. And now I get +1 to... Oh! Yes, I know. Thank you, game. Maxed perception. Just got a filling adjusted. Ugh. Does your mouth still hurt? Oh, my father. You can hear your dad sneeze all the way from engineering. It's explosive, like he's trying to scare away predators. He's wiping his nose as you approach, on a handkerchief blotted with shimmering pink. Lately, he's also surrounded by a fine dust of pink pollen that clings to him wherever he goes. You keep brushing the glitter off of things in your quarters. He gives you a hug, then brushes pollen off your shoulder, laughing self-consciously. You haven't heard him laugh much lately. He's been working hard trying to improve the colony's food supply. He's showing signs of malnourishment too, though your mom is worse. You're worried for both of them. Your dad's skin is kind of shiny in patches. He sees you staring and rubs his hands over his arm. Sparkling dust poofs off of him in little clouds, scintillating in the light. Oh yeah, that's a new symptom, he says. It seems harmless, though. You should see Chief Engineer Instance. Your dad waves you off. I will, he says, placatingly. Placatingly? The bite feels better, actually. Was pressing into my other tooth. Ooh. Ouchie. I can imagine. That would hurt. He flexes. He's pretty strong, though he's got nothing on your mom. And I'm doing fine, really. Your dad sniffles. Gosh, I feel like someone stuffed a whole potato pod up my nose, he says. Like I could just poke a stick up there and pop fresh potato juice. Ew. He just grins. What? It's true. You follow his gaze out to the fields, into the lands outside the gate. I wonder if the foragers could use an extra hand, he muses to himself. Yeah, maybe I'll join them out there tomorrow. Neither of your parents are taking proper care of themselves. They're so stressed out from the poor harvest and low food supplies. They try not to let you see it, but you can tell. Maybe your dad is right. A little seasonal illness is nothing compared to the danger of running out of food. Nope, I disagree. If my dad dies because of this, I'm gonna scream. It's gonna be really loud. Everyone's gonna have to deal with how loud it is. I don't know Tangent's birthday. Wig topic. Could barely wear them for Halloween. Can't imagine wearing them daily. Actually, they're not terrible. This one would be worse if I do this. I have most of it pushed behind me, though. This is unbearable. It all up on my neck. Actually, this is probably the worst one of my wigs, as far as discomfort. It's not terrible, though. It's also, look at my shirt. Hold on. Wait, hold on. This is very important. Look at my shirt. It's got little constellations with, like, dice, like, for D&D and stuff on it. It's got a dragon. It's got a bow. It's so cute. Sorry. Oh. Yeah, this one, it's the most itchy. The other two aren't the worst. Actually, one of them, my one pink wig, the first one I bought, is... I haven't watched the D&D movie either. I keep meaning to. Life got a little crazy for a little bit right after it came out, so I can't. Like, you know, I haven't had time. No, but the first wig I bought, actually, it's really nice. It's still synthetic. It's still plastic, basically. But you can see this one's, like, really shiny. Like, it looks like plastic. The other one is, almost a matte plastic, which is really nice. Extremely comfortable, extremely well made. Could actually, like, braid it and, like, it looks normal. It doesn't, like, show the underneath part. The wig that I wore on Monday, that I actually do have braided right now, the back of it looks awful. Like, I have to wear a beanie with it to cover the back of it, because it's visibly, like, just my hair and, like, the actual tracks of hair. Like, it's not meant to be split like that, to be braided. I need to do something mental. I could do organizing stuff up here. Ooh, get into a debate. Mars would never stoop to using her fists to get her way, but she loves a good fight nonetheless. You ask her what she would have done differently if she'd been in the captain of the Stratospheric when you landed, and her eyes go wide. She launches into a laundry list of shoulda wouldas, and whatever she says she would have done, you offer reasoning for why it wouldn't have worked. Hell yeah. After a little while of this, Mars is positively invigorated. Wow, you really thought about all this, didn't you? She says, cracking a little smile. You're totally right. It's a lot more complicated than just making decisions and telling people what to do. Thank you. It's so important to have people like you around to keep me on my toes. She cracks her knuckles. Okay, but when I'm governor, I will do so much better than the adults can. I believe in you. You got this. What's up? I don't have 20 biology. I am stupid. You make sure to stock the depot with plenty of masks to help combat the thick pollen. Your foresight pays off because they fly off the shelves. Nice. That's what we'd like to hear. Oh. This is probably going to be the best I get. Because I don't think I can get... Yeah. I was like, this has to be it. Nice. Oh, what's my persuasion perk? Ooh. You're at lunch with your parents. Sliced soy cakes and watery broth again. Great. When they put down their cutlery and look at each other, then you. So, Lane, your mom says, there's something we should tell you. We tried to shelter you from some things, but we think you should know why we've been working so hard in geoponics. You should, yes. There's a meeting after lunch and I want you to come with us. Okay. You follow your parents to the council room. Mars has also tagged along, and you take a seat near them, as your mom and Aunt Anne stand to address the council. After Udicott officially calls the meeting, she gestures to your mom. I'm not going to mince words, your mom says firmly. All of our efforts to increase food production and geoponics have failed, especially given the failure of the pixie beans. The destruction of the fields during our last attack put the nail in our coffin. By the end of the year, the colony will run out of food. The rest of the council murmurs in concern. You and Mars exchange horrified looks. You've been doomsaying about our food supply for 2 years, Flulu. Rhett questions. Do you mean to say we're past the point of no return? Your mother nods grimly. I'm afraid so. Even with rationing, without securing a autumnal food source, our supplies will run out by wet season. She gestures to Anne, whose face is grave. Anne and I have gone over the supplies and come up with food plans. We've crunched the numbers. Your mom sighs and spread her hands. I'm sorry, geoponics should have been producing better by now. We should have been able to wean ourselves off of soy rations. During wormhole transit, when we lost our hydroponics in the hull breach, she sighs again. I know I've said it so many times, but our crops just don't grow here. We needed those algae tanks. We needed microbial soil from Earth. Why weren't we told earlier? Adults screw everything up. It's not Mom's fault. Why weren't we told earlier? Yeah, Mars agreed. Why weren't we told? We have a right to know. We live here too. She stands up and slams her hands on the table. We've been here for 4 years, and we could have been helping this whole time, and all you did was have meetings about it. Damn, go off. Snaps from Mars. The council looks at Mars with surprise and then contempt. Udicott chuckles weakly. Imagine being carried for so long and being upset that your feet could not be cut by the rocks. She waves one shaking hand. Seeing the future is the privilege of youth. Thank goodness we have them to point out our flaws. Mars sits back down again, confused by Udicott's words, but fuming at her dismissive tone. So what do we do now? Instance asks. Starving to death isn't an option. No, it isn't, your mom replies. We need to secure a food source this year before our rations run out. We're working double shifts in geoponics, but it's still not enough. We need more people planting, tending, turning the soil. We need more hands. I can pull back the surveyors and focus on foraging native plants, Utopia offers. Even the young folks can help if they've proven themselves around the survey equipment. I'll send out a holo message later. This has been the burden of geoponics for too long, Udicott says. It's time we all step up for our future. The council nods in agreement. Your stomach rumbles ominously. New perk! Let's go. I already read this, but it's still nice to see it up here. Give me my validation. I have down 1 for toughness, though. Realistically, I should rest and then go forage. Or I could just go... Oh, hello. You catch Diz scrolling through his holopalm. I used to watch a lot of videos, he says, frowning. I don't know why. It's all garbage. Who cares about this stuff? It's not real. Diz gestures to the wilderness. That's real. I don't think I know what Diz likes. There's a quest! Utopia greets you warmly as you muster for your first expedition with the foraging team. Solane, I'm glad you could make it! We need everyone we can get out here right now, boosting our food supplies. I'm ready to sniff out those tasties. Good luck hunting out there, she says, handing you an oversized backpack. More like a basket than a pack. Use your holopalm to identify edible and medicinal plants, and just throw them in here. I'll sort them back at base camp. Oh, and keep on the lookout for creatures. It's pretty peaceful out there in the valley, but even a little bug will get you if you're not careful. Go slow, pay attention to your surroundings. If you're unsure about something, don't approach it. Stay on the path and don't get lost. We don't call it the Valley of Vertigo for nothing. Any questions? I can flirt with Utopia? Isn't she way older than me? She's 27. I am 14. Okay, so it's just flirting as like a joke then. Okay. She is almost double my age. Will Diz be with me this time? Utopia looks like she's trying not to smile. Nah, Diz is good at finding new things, just not so much at finding the same things over and over. You'll be okay, though, she continues. You won't be alone out there, and you're doing important work. Thanks. You're about to leave when Utopia snaps her fingers. Hold up, Solane. We're also investigating some species we might domesticate. Those we'll want to tag and capture. Ideally, we're looking for herbaceous, that's what I meant to say. Herbivorous creatures that already live in herds, also, and either produce something edible or reproduce quick enough we can slaughter them for meat. If you see anything that fits the bill, tag them and bring them back here. I wanted to flirt with you. Excuse me, ma'am. Egg. Hefty. How long have we had stare? What does that mean? Oh, I see. I don't know. I didn't add it. I think that's just part of... What is it called? Better Twitch TV? Hey, I know you. I know you too. What the fuck? Excuse me. My little creature. I'm just going around and collecting all the collectibles. Ooh, yellow. Yellow means important. We'll do that one first. This is so much easier now that I just, like, don't actually have to do anything. I can just run around and collect. Oh, I didn't mean to click this one. Yeah, Chrome is awful. I use Firefox exclusively now because of everything else. Like, Chrome slows you down if you have too many tabs open. Or not even too many tabs. Chrome is slow no matter what. But they keep tabs, like, fully loaded and instanced, which is, like, it sucks if you're streaming, especially having things open. Like, I totally, absolutely do not have multiple people's streams open right now in Firefox, just with the tab muted. That would be... Who would do that? You're alone exploring an unmapped area of the Valley of Vertigo. The pollen is thick here, and your air filter is overworked. A warning light has been flashing orange for the last 10 minutes. But there are plants here that you've never seen before. Flowers with intense rainbow hues and strange lumps of fungal matter which pulse as if they're breathing. You cut some samples. Utopia will totally give you extra kudos for these. The pollen is especially thick up ahead, deep fuchsia and shimmering with color. Everything here seems to dance with tiny flecks of reflected light. It's kind of magical. Caution is wise. I will press on through here. I just didn't mean to click that. I wanted to collect shit. I have a lot of stress, though. I'm gonna want to be careful about it. We'll do this yellow first. You spent some time working in geoponics, so you know your way around a plant or two. Walking through this area, you notice something different about it. The bare ground feels bouncy, like a trampoline, and the plants all look weirdly stunted. Not a lot can stifle nature here, so it's honestly a little weird that there's no grasses or mosses growing here. Notice the strange, spongy soil. You peer down at this oddly bouncy ground. It's pink and fleshy and... Wait, is it even ground? You kneel and take a closer look. More like a kind of dense moss, or coral, maybe. You press a hand into the moist, squashy substance. It smells sweet and starchy, like cake. It blankets the ground here in thick sponge-like layer, swallowing up everything it touches. Gross. But it smells so good. You dig a large chunk of the sponge cake up to bring back to geoponics. Further analysis is needed, but you have a good feeling about this one. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's a lot of stress. I want to make a comfy emote, but I do not have fucking space. I don't have any space for new emotes. You're alone exploring an unmapped area, blah blah blah. Press forward! You push forward into the suffocating pink fog. It's so thick, you can only see a few meters ahead. You follow the glimmering towards where it is densest. You come upon a glade filled with what seems to be strange topiaries. They loom out of the glittering fog, each in the shape of an animal. They're all formed from the same spongy, glittering pink substance and dotted with finger-length fungal growths. You're so distracted you almost fall into a large hole in the center of the glade. Check for danger. You've seen plant-like animals before. Are these topiaries actually predators waiting for you to get close? You watch them carefully from the edge of the glade. They're completely still, not breathing. There are no life signs. Good. Your envirosuit beeps a warning. Inspect the topiary. The topiary you choose is a large, dog-sized quadruped which appears to be kneeling. It's far too lifelike. As you get closer, you realize with a growing revulsion that this was once a living creature, now encased or transformed entirely into sparkling pink fungus. It's dead. You remember helping Tang for extra credit. Tang, whatever. For extra credit in biology class. She said that the shimmer, the seasonal illness that affects your dad, in pollen, is some kind of colonizing fungal growth. Could this be related? Take a sample. As you bend down to take the sample, you realize the dense, shining haze is coming from the topiaries. The fog is seeping out of the holes at the end of each fungal growth. You break off a few of the growths into a collection vial. The more you think about it, the more you are sure this is related to shimmer. I am worried about the fact that my envirosuit is beeping warnings. If I die, I'm just gonna reload. Look into the hole. At the bottom of the hole is a cave. It slopes down gradually towards the cave floor, only about 4 meters below, and then disappears underground. You aren't sure how far the cave continues past that point. It's dark down there, obviously, but not silent. There's some kind of strange rhythmic whirring coming from farther inside the cave. You hold up your palm and shine your hollow palm's light. The cave floor glitters with pink fungus, and the air is ominously choked with it. I'm not very smart. You make your way down the gentle slope towards the cave. The thick, shimmering pollen makes it hard to see further than your hand. You see 3 glowing vats set into the floor like neon hot tubs and an old-fashioned mechanical interface set into the cave wall. The reflecting glow from the vats flickers onto the cave ceiling, ghost-like and beautiful. You feel a strong urge to take off your mask and stay a while. Unmasked, you cross the cave and lay out your hands on the interface. It feels spongy, almost alive. Oh! Instantly, you can feel your mind blasted open by everything all at once, as if 1,000 pairs of eyes all turn their terrible gaze upon you. You're thrown back by the shock, which brings you to your senses with a snap. The pollen, the sparkling dust feels like tiny knives in your sinuses and a heavy, choking pain in your lungs. Why did you take your mask off? You slap your suit helmet back on to see its light flashing red, indicating filter overload. You lurch out of the cave and back towards the checkpoint, barely able to breathe. You know you need to get out of here, but a small part of you wants to go back down there, to stay in this glade forever. As you near the checkpoint, Utopia runs out to help you. You instinctively turn back, unthinking, running to return to the fog, to those strange statues. You collapse in her arms. Several days later, you wake. You don't remember much, just a great, choking heaviness in your lungs, and the world swallowing you up and closing over your head. You have snippets of conscious thought from the last few days, but it's hard to tell if it was a dream or not. Oh no! That's some bullshit. You remember Tammy sitting by your bedside, her cool hand on your forehead. But she's dead. That part must have been a dream. It feels like you had a fever once, hot and sticky, achy all over like you'd been boiled alive. You're still terribly weak, and there is a pain in your chest like someone had just been sitting on it. It takes all of your energy just to breathe. You live, but your body took a serious hit and may never be quite the same. That's fair. I'm gonna rest on the walls. You're enjoying some quiet time on the walls when you look down and see a group of school children on a field trip outside the walls. Wait, are you missing a field trip? Aw, maybe you are missing something by doing all your schoolwork up here alone. Yeah, this game got dark really quickly, actually. You carefully pick a yellow flower. Where's Diz? There's Diz. Ah, he doesn't like it. It is Anemone's birthday! Anemone. Yarg, Nem exclaims, holding her stomach. I'm so hungry. Here you go. Cool, thanks. Nem says, taking the egg. I guess it is my birthday this week. I kinda forgot. We're gonna go forage. A curious Bricky blocks your path. It's acting strange. It keeps scurrying up and hanging upside. It keeps scurrying up trees and hanging upside down to get a different angle to look at you, then dropping down when you try to pass underneath. It may be small, but it's at least attempting to be intimidating. That must mean something. It's not interested in your pet, Bricky. It's interested in you. Even Bright Eyes looks unsure and hides between your legs.
Did somebody say that?
I want the less stress. Yeah, I know. I could have gotten way better. I didn't actually need the less stress. The Ricky runs up your leg. It's a giant spider thing, and it's got weird tentacles and get it off. The urge to dance around and shake it off is almost uncontrollable, but you manage to keep your cool. The Ricky tastes you with its tentacle feeler legs, but doesn't look interested in causing you harm. It pokes at your backpack trying to get in, then scurries. It gives up and scurries off. I wonder if there's any more. Wow, there's a lot of Ricky out here for some reason. I wonder if there's any more yellow exclamation points. Why is my pet over here? Why are there so many Rickies? An absolutely enormous tree forms part of the path here. Its roots cut natural stairs into the path, and its magnificent canopy of large flat leaves completely blocks out the sky. They arch overhead almost to the ground on the other side. Walking under it is like going through a tunnel. In the tunnel it is dark and gloomy, unseasonably cool, and filled with the whisper of leaves. You get the sense that something is aware of your presence. Whisper back. Oh boy. Oh boy. I've never used an item before in this game, but it's become time to do so. A nearby leaf unfurls and offers you 2 large, hard nuts. You feel a sense of peace and cooperation watch over you, like you and the tree of understanding. I'm gonna bring them both back. You are a forager, after all. Utopia can figure out what to do with these. You come out of the trees into a large grassy clearing. In the middle of it is, well, you can only describe it as a pedestal. In the middle of a crater of flowers sits a massive egg, easily larger than any egg you've seen before. It's white with red flecks, and it's just sitting here in the middle of the clearing, totally unprotected. You put one foot up on the pedestal to brace yourself. This thing is huge. However, as you do, the pedestal starts moving, and it starts growling. Its flowering appendages unfurl to reveal the face of a manticore. It narrows its feline eyes at you and rumbles in warning as it stands to its full, terrifying height. You figured out where the egg came from. With your arms full of egg, you can't really fight. Your choices are limited. I'm gonna try. There we go. You stumble blindly through the clearing towards the relative safety of the trees, the cumbersome egg blocking your view of your own feet. You fall a few times, just barely managing to scramble out from under the claws of the manticore. Easy. You eventually find a member of the Expedition's protection squad who fires a warning shot with her plas rifle over the manticore's head. It roars in defiance and slinks into the trees. The egg's pretty addled from all the running and falling. If it was gonna hatch before, it certainly won't now. You get a shit ton of kudos for it, and it's super tasty. You find a trippet, a large, tasty, plant? Kind of? You've heard it's sort of like an animal, too. Like a lot of creatures on Vertumna, it kind of defies classification. Whatever it is, it's huge. It's practically taller than you are. Oh! I should have just taken some fucking things off of it. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna note the location so, like, it doesn't die. I should have just fucking taken the stalks. Ah! Oh, no. Please don't show me what this creature is, game. Your path is blocked by a massive 8-legged xenofauna, something between a spider, a squid, and a bear. It's in a rage, grunting furiously and bashing itself against the trees and rocks at random. You duck and hide as it glares in your direction, its breath heaving and dozens of eyes gleaming with madness. It's the same soft pink and purple you recognize from the multi-legged Vriki that live in the area, but so much larger. Could this be a related species? Its gaze drops from you to your pet Vriki Bright Eyes, who chitters and runs up to it, waving its grasping tentacles. The gigantic creature leans down to sniff it, and its rage forgotten. The larger creature makes a chuffing noise, like a tiger, a bassy, vibrating exhale that ruffles your Vriki's fur. Content that it's not going to eat Bright Eyes, you keep back and let them introduce themselves. Okay, I was worried when it said that it was going to be, like, a lot grosser. I guess technically Vriki is kind of like a spider. Bright Eyes isn't intimidated in the slightest. In fact, it seems totally relaxed in the presence of this hulking beast. They touch tentacles and sniff each other, and your Vriki even curls up in the bigger one's arms for a while. Wait, they look just like parent and child. Is this another phase of the life phase of the Vriki? After a while, the huge Vriki leaves harmlessly. You're happy your little buddy got some social time with her own species. You come across not just one Vriki, but a whole swarm of them, mostly just baby ones about the size of your hand. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down the trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice it's the same pale pink as the baby Vriki. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging into the ground. When the Vriki see you approach, they get agitated, and they look hungry. definitely hungry. Like dozens of hungry grapefruit-sized, furry pink spiders. The stuff of nightmares. Maybe they aren't so bad. You walk up to the tree and put your hand on it. The baby Vricky swarm around the tree trunk, very upset with you, but they calm down when they see you aren't doing anything. There's an unmistakable thrum of life under your hand, not just from the proximity of the baby Vricky, but from the tree itself. It's warm and leathery, and you can feel something like a pulse. It's alive? It seems as if the tree is itself a Vricky, just in a different phase of its life cycle. Does that mean that the little clusters of fruit in its branches are Vricky eggs, or maybe cocoons? There's so much you don't know, but you do know that this nursery tree is a special place. There's nothing to forage here, though. These ravenous youngsters have stripped everything edible from a wide radius. You move on. Cool. You find a healthy blep bush and harvest some of the leaves to bring back to the colony. Go from being a squid squirrel to a squid tree? Yeah, precisely. Utopia is beyond excited when she sees your haul. Oh, blep, she cries, shoving her hands right into the basket of rustling leaves. Soleil, you're a girl after my own heart. She pops a leaf in her mouth and chews on it, then shudders happily. Whoo, she cries. That'll perk you up, but good. Aunt Anne brews a heck of a cup with the stuff, but me, I prefer it raw. She points at you. Don't you go getting any funny ideas. This'll turn you green and give you spots. Cross my heart. Stay away from this until you're older. I'm gonna chew on it. Ugh. Just because Utopia was born on Earth, she thinks she's an adult just like the rest of them. She's closer to your age than to all the other adults. What does she know anyways? You wait until Utopia leaves, then shove a leaf into your mouth. Ugh. You struggle not to spit it out right away. It's so bitter. You can't help but stick your tongue out. Blep indeed. Mysteriously, you experience a rush of giddiness a few minutes later. Ooh, wow, that blep sure is good. No wonder adults keep this stuff away from the kids. It's probably addictive. Probably. I'm glad I chose to do that one not first, because now I actually have more exploring I can do. Something about the ground here draws your attention. It's oddly lumpy. What's up with that? Scope it out. It's probably the best I can do here. Could have done 27. I disagree. Whoa, it's a potato minefield. Underground, the recent rain has swelled up the young melons to bursting. You better watch where you step or you'll end up knee-deep in potato juice. The good news is, they're tasty. Forage. They're so dang heavy, the calorie-to-weight ratio isn't optimal. Most are too young, but you find a ripe one, dig it up, and roll it back to the depot. You come across a veritable feast of berry bushes. Spiky, fierce-looking bushes with glistening red berries. They look delicious. Research them first. Yeah! Let's go. I'm so smart. Your research confirms that these red berries are highly toxic. You shouldn't even be here. You fill up your basket with red berries and lug it back to Utopia at base camp. Hey, what are you trying here? She says, surveying your haul. These are poisonous. You could have killed someone. Pay attention, Solane. No, I know. I am quite aware that those are highly toxic. Thank you, actually. A line of termite-like insects crosses the path here. Curious, you follow them to their destination. A massive sponge-like hive of crawling bugs, writhing with life. The bugs are tending to larvae nestled in the holes of the sponge, feeding on the rich royal jelly that oozes from the hive. You step in for a closer look and hear a warning hiss from above. Atop the hive is a queen, whatever it is. Wait, no. She is the hive. Wait, this is the squeezer hive. Her abdomen is swollen and lodged in the ground here, rendering her immobile. But not defenseless, the hive queen groans and growls at you. The air prickles with the burning flavor of acid. She must have some sort of defensive acid spray. That jelly looks pretty edible, though. I'm gonna try. We'll push through if necessary. I just have to get to 30. See? Super easy. You get in there and squeeze out some of the jelly from one of the hive queen's many holes, somehow managing not to get sprayed too badly by her acid. Some lands on your arms and the back of your hand and sizzles briefly, but you keep your calm long enough to escape with your bounty. I've already done this section. You come across another squeezer hive, an intensely gravid hive queen and her hundreds of wriggling grubs, rooted here just like any other tree. This one seems calm. You're able to approach close enough to smell the sweet tang of her royal jelly. could have gotten 37. I believe it. The calm hive queen has only a rudimentary danger sense. Squeeze your hives can be very defensive when they sense danger to the young, but so long as you don't set off the workers or the larvae, you're free to walk up to her. You gently avoid hurting any of the babies as you scrape her copious honey into a collector. I think I've got 2 more question marks. You come across a cluster of mushrooms. Are they edible? There's only one way to find out. Well, there are a few ways if you're not a coward. Let's identify them.
Video spreadsheet TikTok today. They're like, I'm not letting you out. You gotta stay there. And he's just, oh, hiding in the corner. He's so mad. I'll get one whimper if I don't hear it shoot misses. You started, earlier I heard it, like, when I started like a minute later, she starts sniffing around the fucking, she usually pees, and I walked over and scared the shit out of her. She ran outside. Hate worms.
Wait, how did that fuck it up?
Twitch Nitro, I can do this. I can do it from every server. Yeah.
Oh, it adds a +1 to it. F. Whatever. You're able to determine that these mushrooms are edible. You fill up your basket with big chunks of tasty fungus. Utopia is pleased with your haul. Great work. You're too worn out and tired to continue. You have to go home now. If I hadn't pushed through, I would have been fine. More reading! I should have known! Who could have guessed that the visual novel game would have contained more reading? Really and truly, I never saw this coming. It's time for Vertumnalia, the yearly midsummer celebration when the colony gives thanks for its good fortune. Well, it would be, but as you file into the main square, you can't help but notice that the feast table is nearly empty. What Anne lacked in resources, she made up with care. The dishes are lovingly plated, soy cakes glisten, steam rises from the buns with mince, and there are great pitchers of vegetable broth rendered out from even the most inedible food scraps. There's a neat stack of sugar cubes for dessert. Whole sugar, what a luxury! In an underwhelming feast, that'll be the highlight. Governor Udicott's welcoming speech this year is short. Her frail body trembles as she welcomes you all to Vertumnalia with a dry, whispery voice, then has to be helped off stage. Like all of you, she has been feeling the effects of the famine. Everyone clears away the chairs for the annual competition. Which one do you participate in? The talent show! You and Mars report to the stage for the talent show competition. Diz is nowhere to be seen. Mars frowns, looking around as if he's lying in wait. Oh, boo, she grumbles. He always made me look good. If it's just you, I'm only the best out of 2. Mars has been working on her speechcraft. This year, she gives a speech inspired by the great leaders of Earth, linking their philosophies into a sort of mega theory about how the greatest works of human history have come from overcoming our greatest struggles through ingenuity and cooperation. She can't help herself from drawing parallels to the current famine, the failure of a colony leadership to prepare for it, and how the council clearly needs newer, younger voices to be able to imagine the future. The council isn't impressed by that part. Because it's Mars, the climax of the speech resolves with inspirational music and fireworks. It's very exciting. You're up. What have you prepared? These are all creativity, which I'm not great at. I'm gonna do song, though.
Morty is a puppy red language that was awful. Literally just slaughtered every word that existed. Yeah, why do you sound like you're a fucking
Oh
fox?
boy.
That's because you're depressed and old. Because you're depressed and old. No, that your voice is all messed up.
I think we're gonna have to take it. I don't think I could have gotten 27, actually. Mars's act was a tough one to follow, but the talent show is judged by audience applause. Given how tired and hungry everyone is, your lighthearted and simple song is what the people really want. Mars looks miffed at the snub, but shakes your hand. Geniuses are rarely appreciated in their time, she says. Okay. Okay. Bitch, I wrote a song. After the festivities, the whole colony takes a few days off for a break. Well, except for geoponics, and the foragers, and the kitchens, and everyone who uses the breaks from their usual work to help out in places that didn't close. Okay, it's not really a break, but you try to take it easy anyway. Hell yeah. Okay. The not getting any physical skills is kind of killing me, and it's really annoying. I'm just gonna finish foraging out here. I've only got like one question mark left.
Okay. Makes sense. He's got a higher ego than you.
There we go. Around the corners. I think it's up here.
You can't react quick enough to his being.
Bricky are carnivores, you think, but the juveniles are too small to take out anything larger than an insect. Not so much the case with this one. The Ricky blocking your path is pretty large, probably about as tall as your waist, and it's growling at you over the carcass of something even bigger, which seems to be missing its head. Yuck. You're not sure if it killed or scavenged that animal, but it's dragged it onto the path and looks ready to fight you for it. I'll fight it. Let's go.
He really is dipping you.
There we go. Easy, easy. You chase the Ricky off and claim ownership of the dead animal. It's no prize. It's completely rotten. It's not even worth calling in a retrieval team. What a waste. I think that was everything I could do out here.
Weird butt dance. I don't know if I want to see that. Shit.
That kind of sucks.
Is that a gigantic pack of Sour Patch Kids on that table?
But I wanted to get it all done on the off chance that it would, like, help with the starvation issues. I wonder if I had been helping in geoponics this whole time, if it would have been better.
Oh, why is he doing that?
That is a question I have now. But realistically, I don't think it matters. I don't need perception. Let's go. New month. New month, new me. I can't get any of these skills, so I should probably... Realistically, I should go for organizing. Mars calls together the meeting of the Secret Fun Times Club together. She declares it's time to put the secret part of SFC into effect. You're going to play spies. First of all, the adults know something about the attacks in Glow that they're not telling us, Mars asserts. There's a council meeting starting soon just down the hall. We're going to investigate. Nem crosses her arms. Not gonna do it, she says. I didn't sign up for any get in trouble club. It's insulting to think that the adults are hiding information from us, Tange points out. If there's something dangerous out there, we should all know. Yeah, Cal agrees. If something is making the animals attack us, maybe we can help figure it out. That way we don't have to hurt the animals. Tange rolls her eyes. I want to be a spy.
Yeah, maybe.
Trying to max out that rebellion stat. Mars nods. Okay, whoever wants to come, follow me and stay quiet. You, Tange, and Cal join her. You, Tange, Cal, and Mars creep down towards the hall, towards the council room. It's still empty. Good, Mars says. Mars pulls a small crystal out of her pocket and shows it to you. It sort of resembles your holopalm. She whispers, it's a 3D camera, like the kind they use to record holovids. Selene is gonna hide it in the council room. Sweet. Time to use my ninja skills. Make sure nobody sees you, Mars says and drops the crystal into your palm. Mars nudges you forward, and then the three of them giggle and scurry back to the club room. You're on your own.
Wait,
You grab a static mop from a panel in the wall and vigorously wipe the floor as you enter the empty council room. You work your way over to a potted antler fern and drop the crystal into the pot while pretending to dust it. Success! You casually make your way back out of the room and rejoin the others. Mars beams at you. Good work, Selene. Now, oh, shh, it's starting. The four of you watch the feed on your holopalm as the council members enter the room. They start with some formalities, not all that different from how Mars starts your club meetings. Aunt Anne gives the first report on domestic matters. We've almost finished the construction on the next phase of the living area, she says. Other than that, we're doing well. Instance give the report from engineering. We've researched the electrical bugs the children discovered had been chewing through the wires, she says, impassively. Even in great numbers, they provide far too little energy to make them a viable alternative energy source. However, power efficiency is up across the board due to our efforts in exterminating them. Your mom clears her throat.
it is a snare.
The situation in geoponics is dire, she says seriously. I cannot understate that we will be in very real danger of a widespread starvation if we cannot find an alternative food source among the native plants. Udicott gives your mother her full endorsement. Rhett gives a report from defense. We're working on a strategy for dealing with the next Xeno attack. Utopia cuts in. On that note, there's still the matter of our scanners picking up that broadcast, but only in glow season, she says, standing up and putting her hands on the table. It has to be connected to the attack somehow. We should investigate now. Uticott shakes her head. It's far too dangerous to go recklessly off into the wilderness towards the back half of the year, she says. Remember what happened to Tonin? The other council members go quiet. I won't be responsible for endangering more colonists. If something is out there during glow, I want to try to investigate it when things are more calm. Utopia slams her fist against the table. If we don't investigate soon, we'll all be in danger, she shouts. We can't keep living like this. Rhett also stands up and points his finger at Utopia. I'll be the one responsible for telling the family of your explorer that they didn't make it back, not you. So I'll thank you not to make decisions regarding the security of the colony. The rest of the council erupts into raised voices and angry adults. Mars turns off the stream audio, leaving them to continue arguing silently as you all stare quietly at each other. I knew it was bad about the food, but not that bad, Mars says. Why are they only arguing about what to do about the attacks? I don't want to starve. She makes a noise of frustration. Uticott is way out of touch with what really matters. She's like a crone, and everyone else is just her cronies. Tange solemnly records your findings in the club's secret ledger while everybody else exchanged worried looks. You are not so sure you are happy you heard any of this. It's alright. Ooh.
Y'all got me fucked up. Hell no. Bro. That's a fact. That's a fact.
I think that's as good as I can do. Nice. It's the wet season. Ha! Mars laughs, taking the crystal and turning it over in her hand, inspecting it. Well, I've had better birthday gifts this year, but I admit this crystal is pretty fabulous. I'll add it to my collection. Thanks.
No.
Here you go. This is interesting, is all Tange says, taking the root and turning them over in her hands. Blah, blah, blah. We've already done that one before. I have more Xeno eggs for you. I found a blobber fruit for you.
They also beat up somebody for drug money.
I'm conserving energy, Diz says from his perch on top of a rock outcropping overlooking the forest. Humans aren't used to going hungry, and the wild animals die of hunger all the time. It keeps the food web balanced. He rubs his nose. Maybe we're just supposed to die here. That's not so bad if it's what we deserve. He doesn't like the yellow flowers. I thought he would like the flowers. That's on me. I'm worried about the hunger thing, but realistically, there's not much I can do about it. Mars always wants you to finish your work quickly so you can goof off or read holomags together, but if Seek catches you, they'll just find more work to do. There we go. Lots of money. What was that? I can't work as a farmer. I don't have nearly enough biology. Actually, I'm not crazy far out from the requirements of biology. Why don't I just do that real quick? It's only +2, but I bet I can do it really well. You never got around to attending life science class before Hal died. Wow, thanks, Gabe, for calling me the fuck out. It's a shame. He was so passionate about science, he probably would have had a lot to say about the life on Vertumna. He was the teacher back on the ship. Who could possibly replace him? You take your seat in the classroom. There's no teacher here yet. You and the other students wait, exchanging awkward glances as the time passes. Eventually, Chief Engineer Instance breezes through the door. She's accompanied by Tange, who takes a seat beside you, barely giving you a look. Look who showed up, Instance snaps. With a sinking feeling, you know she's talking about you. Thanks, Gabe. So, Lane, can you even tell me what life sciences entails? Tange looks at you out of the corner of her eye, trying not to smirk. Biochem, medicine, ecology, geology. You easily rattle off the subject names. Instance doesn't look pleased, but she doesn't look disappointed either. That's about as good as you ever get from her, honestly, so you can count that as a win. Tange stops you on the way to class. So, Lane, were you headed to life science? Good. I could actually use your help with something. I'm working with Chief Engineer Instance in the biolab. If you give me a hand with it, I'm sure she'll give you credit for the class. Of course. Honestly, admits Tange, we just need someone to label petri dishes and move them from the cooler to different machines. I hope I could do it. Instance is staring unfocused at her hollow eye as she processes the results of the scans. Tange goes and stands beside her, pulling up the scan on her own holopalm. They confer quietly while you wait. Sounds like they're studying Shimmer, the mysterious illness that some colonists get during pollen every year, including your dad. Instance looks up at you as if just noticing your existence. Ah, so Lane, she says, we've been studying samples from some of the colonists who get sick during pollen, including your dad. Some of the stuff in his lungs, it's some kind of fungus. We think the Shimmer is a form of reproduction, Tange explains. It's like a fungus trying to turn us into more fungus like it. It's really neat, actually. Yeah, neat. You spend the rest of the week helping them study the illness. Most of this involves following instructions and doing, as Tange loves to repeat, jobs a hot bite could do. Nothing beats hand-on experience, though. This would be easier if we had an actual sample of the fungus, Instance remarks. They're working on some biological samples, a fancy word for snot, but according to them, the fungus is all mixed in with the human cells. Instance has to spend a lot of time in virtual space trying to disconnect the two in her model. Hey. Instance replies. That is interesting. However, unlikely it is that an untrained adolescent would simply have stumbled across what we're looking for. It is worth chasing any possible leads on this disease. You could take a look at them in your dad's geoponics lab, she suggests, giving you a dubious look, but you might need to brush up on your biology first. Tangent and Chief Engineer Instance have been hard at work in the lab trying to find a cure for the Shimmer disease. You join them in their research. You're the one who found a sample of the Shimmer fungus and analyzed it. You're the one whose father suffers the most from it. You confirm that the shimmer is an airborne fungal disease, that the thick, choking spores and pollen are the same fungi from the Valley of Vertigo, the ones that colonize the host and turn their bodies into more spore-producing fungus. Finally, you have a long-view breakthrough. Sunlight! You try inoculations, antibiotics, antifungal creams, but what finally works is a high-intensity light treatment mimicking the full force of sun during dust, coupled with an injection to increase its potency. Of course, Tange exclaims. The fungus colonizes animal life during pollen, and some succumb to it. But the intense light of dust scourges the fungus from the survivors. It's all part of the natural cycle. The treatment works on samples. Now to test it on a subject. Test it on myself. You open a triple-locked research room and pass through an airlock. You don't have your envirosuit on, but that's the point. You need a strong dose of fungus in the lungs. The small room is filled with shimmer fungus. It's growing on everything. The floor and walls, on lumpy shapes that were some kind of biological matter once. Now it's all just fungus, violet, and shiny. You breathe deeply, marveling in the feeling of soupy, dangerous air infiltrating your body. Tange watches safely from behind the thick plexiglass. You can't tell if she's jealous or impressed. We did get +2 friendship with her for this, so that's not bad. Next, you slide into the light therapy machine to bask in the nice warm light for a while. You even have a nap. Dr. Instance takes your vitals and runs samples of your fluids through various machines. She's excruciatingly thorough, but after a few days, she concludes that the treatment is a success. You still have a high fungal load, but its effect has been nullified by the light therapy. We did! Okay, good. We found a cure. Hell yes. Anyways, remarkable, Instance says, going over your findings. Now that we have a frontline therapy, we can begin treating the population to prevent the hump fungus from taking hold. Let's fucking go! And we got more friendship with Tange. She looks over at Tange. So Lane's discovery will be of great help with our other research. You expect Tangent might be cross that you got the credit, but she nods, looking pleased. You're just thankful that no one was killed, not your father or anyone else. The colony is safe from Shimmer. I am 99% sure that my father can and could have died if I didn't get the cure. Because that's where the game was going with that. Bam. And we have so much biology, it's crazy. We have 22 now. I only wanted 20. Tangent, we did it! Tange looks up from her Apollo palm, blinking as her eyes refocus on the middle distance and then on you. Her previously long hair is gone, buzzed close to her scalp. You almost didn't recognize her when you first saw her. You wonder if it was caused by a lab accident or something. Hello, Solane, she says already cagey. Did you need something? No, I just came by to say hello. The faintest hint of relief passes across Tange's face. You get the impression that not pressing her on her personal appearance was a wise choice. Oh, well, hello then, Tange replies. She raises her hand as if to push her hair out of her face, but stops when she realizes what she's doing. I'm rather busy at the moment, actually, so if you don't mind? Now we're becoming best friends with her, too? Hell yeah, let's just befriend everybody. Dad, I saved your life. You don't even know it yet. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna make sure Mars doesn't have something to do. Nope, she's good. I want to apply to work as a farmer. Sure, kiddo. This is assuming you've been studying up on your biology. School comes first. I'm ready. Great. Come see me in geoponics. All right, we're gonna do that this month. It's a proud day for your mom. You're finally following in her footsteps. She meets you at the gates to the garden. Hello, Sprout, she says, sounding chipper. Come on, we've got a lot to cover before you'll be able to keep up with the rest of us. Finally, some real farming. Your mom shows you around the fields and the geoponic domes. You'll mostly be working in the fields with the hardier earth crops like the potatoes and the corn, as well as the native plants we've managed to cultivate. She shakes her head, and with the state of the crops right now, we need a miracle. She's right, the crops are worryingly meager. Sickly yellow soybeans and potatoes with lush, enormous leaves, barely any potatoes under them at all. You spend the rest of the day pulling weeds and watering plants. You're dirty up to your waist by the time you're finished, but it's good, honest work. You're proud to be able to do something that helps out the colony. Cal gives you a high five and invites you for a cool drink in the cafeteria. All the other agriculturalists join you. Of all the places in the colony you've worked, geoponics is the most like a family. Maybe it's because they've always been your family, thanks to Mom and Dad. Someone broke into the garden last night and stole some green tomatoes. What a waste. Not only were they probably too bitter to eat, but now you don't have seeds to replant. Your mom is furious. This sucks. Your mom calls everyone for an all-hands meeting. She looks grim as she surveys the group. Alright, farmers, listen up. Based on my projections, geoponics should have been producing nearly 70% of the colony's food by the end of our 3rd year, she says. The rest is to be provided by stored rations in hydroponic algae greenhouses aboard the Stratospheric. The agriculturists all nod. Everyone knows where this is going. Because we lost so much of our hydroponic equipment in the wormhole incident, as well as 90% of our soil and bacteria cultures, we're nowhere near the production we need to be at. We also had hoped to at least find domesticated at least one native crop, but as we found from the pixie beans last year, we have some more work to do on that front. She looks every one of you in the eye. You're my people, my family. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. The colony is going to fail if we don't get a handle on agricultural production. People will die. You feel a pit in your stomach that's not just from hunger. You can't imagine someone as strong as your mom just wasting away. Your mom pulls up a holoscreen outlining work plans for the season. You feel your own holopalm pulse as you receive a copy. There's so much life here on this planet, your mother says, but it seems to fight us at every turn. I've sent soil chemistry analysis to your palms, courtesy of geranium. The soil needs to be conditioned extensively to support earth crops. We need to cultivate more autumnal crops in partnership with the foragers. We need to salvage what we can of hydroponics and get that up and running by the end of the year. Your mother would never stoop to being beaten, but you can see the line of fatigues around her eyes. It'll take a superhuman amount of work to turn this around, but it is still possible, she says. You are the people who will save this colony. I believe in us and the miracles we can perform here. Thank you for being here to do the work. Now let's get out there. I got this. I disagree. I don't think I could have gotten a 28, but thank you. Plus for biology. Somehow still +1 toughness. It's been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year dragged on and the fields continue to struggle. You've been wasting away. You all have. It's not just the lack of calories. There aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you are eating. Oh, your muscles ache all the time. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often it feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders pulling you down. You're tougher than most, but you still have trouble sleeping despite being tired all the time. You spend the whole day dazed in a fog. Uh-oh. At least you hardly feel the hunger now. For months, the idea of food plagued your thoughts, each one like a dagger in your stomach. They've been replaced by an odd sense of peace. Now you feel half tethered to this reality, floating above everything like a balloon. Your friends stop working and retreat to their quarters. You lie to each other on the HoloNet, saying you're okay, just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went as meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up and never rests, never stops working as much as your dad begs her to. She must be sleeping in geoponics, because you hardly see her in the family quarters anymore. From where you lie nestled in your cozy fugue, it all seems like far too much effort to bother with. I'm still gonna go out there and help her. You're out there in the fields with her, being her sidekick, helping fetch things. She never slows down. When the roboplow finally breaks under the pressure, she doesn't. She's out there even longer, doing everything by hand. Both of your parents feel responsible for this famine, but as head of geoponics, your mom takes it personally. She's been skipping on meals, relying on water and pressed soy bar rations, just enough calories to keep a body moving, but not enough to stay healthy. Yet she never lets up, working herself to the bone, barely even sleeping, increasingly sallow-eyed and gaunt. You and your dad try to slow her down, but, well, she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, then who? Oh, no. I don't want to read it. You and your dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth when there's a commotion at the door. Someone runs in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. You run over, knowing deep in the pit of your stomach that something terrible has happened. When you see the faces of the agriculturalists, your mom's people, you know the feeling is real. Motherfucker! Okay. Your dad sees her body first. He lets out a cry like something you've never heard before, a deep, unimaginable pain dragged up from the darkest part of where fear lives. I really shouldn't have played this game. Oh. It's okay. Your dad falls to his knees beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile shell. They tell you she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees and then laid down in the dirt, and that was it. She's gone. Your mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night the colony gathers to pay their respects. Like Tammy's funeral, the incinerator room has been cleared and a wreath of flowers placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. They're white astrania, your mother's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth with the hopes of flourishing on Vertumna, just like you. You stand with your father and Aunt Anne. Udicott and the rest of the council are here as well, including Rhett. You're surprised to see tears rolling down his face. He's such a hard ass in the garrison. Cal is here with all the other agriculturalists. The rest of the colony waits in the canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Governor Udicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she begins solemnly. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she, more than many of us, exemplified the spirit of our endeavor to bring life beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe her is the kind that can never be repaid. She continues, it is with a deep and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice, the depth of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us still. Udicott closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the memories, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Your father is the new head of geoponics, and in a few hours he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling that your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly. His voice is thick with emotion. I know I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. Prospect of just going back to work like everything is normal is too much to handle. The sun dips below the horizon and glow begins. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the HoloNet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. It's enough to survive for another month. Until the new year, maybe, if you keep rationing. The colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. The roar rakes you. Oh. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting, then another roar, guttural and rumbling like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there. You don't know what gives you the courage, but you run out to the fields to face the horrible creature face to It has no face. In place of a face or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes, pocked with jagged asymmetrical teeth. It stands on four enormous, powerful legs, each as wide across as tree trunks. Clinging to its back and its thick, slug-like tail are clumps of lichen that glow faintly in the night. The creature is nearly twice the height of a greenhouse. It's standing on top of a flattened one, the wreckage of lattice and plants all around. Flickers of light from plasma rifles and stun gloves light it from underneath, and the stench of ozone is thick in the air. You see Nem and her brother Calm darting in and around its legs with their twin shocks of red hair. The faceless creature lurches into another greenhouse, oblivious to the soldiers trying to herd it away. The monster left a trail of destruction from where it smashed right through the wall. Smaller creatures are pouring in through the gap and heading towards... They're heading straight to command. You watch helplessly as the hordes of animals storm command, sneaking through torn away panels and smashing through windows. It's too far away to hear the screams, but Governor Udicott is inside. You have to do something. I'm gonna die if I do this one, but I kinda want to. Man! This shit's not fair. I'm worried about Nem. None of these are good choices.
Are you breathing too heavy?
You run towards Geoponics, picking up a handful of rocks as you cross through the barren fields. When Calm sees you, he gestures for you to flee. Get out of here, Soleil, he says. You're gonna get yourself killed. You grip your rocks in defiance. You're sick of being told to hide like a child. You want to help. I've been helping every year.
Yeah, that guy's been watching you since you got in the store. He's gonna kiss you too. Weird. I'm not.
You try your hardest, but even with the full force of the defense squad, you can barely keep it contained near the farms. You dart in and around the battle, throwing rocks and making noise to keep the abomination's attention away from the rest of the colony. Its tentacles whip around, slapping the ground and knocking into people, picking them up and throwing their helpless bodies like dolls, only to be crushed under its massive trunk-like feet. The fields are littered with bodies of the fallen. Sweat stings your eyes, but somehow you stay on your feet. Others aren't so lucky. Soleil, watch out! Calm cries out, and you look up just in time to dodge the wet slap of a tentacle, tripping over your body and sprawling to the dirt yourself. The Faceless makes a horrible noise from deep inside its craw, flecking you with spittle as your guts liquefy from the near miss. You're close enough to feel the sick heat radiating off of it. It doesn't have a
Yeah.
face, but you realize with horror that it sees you.
7 o'clock on a Wednesday.
The beam of a plasma rifle arcs over your head, and the faceless roars again and turns its terrible attention to Calm. You scream and uselessly cover your head as it lumbers over you. You scramble to your feet and you see Calm go flying through the air. He lands a few meters away with a sickeningly wet crunch. Cool! Great! Ah! I'm okay. I'm not okay, but you know, I'm okay. Motherfucker. No one died last stream, if I remember correctly. I didn't have a single fucking colonist die, and within 2 seasons, my mother and my one of my friends' older brothers have died. Great. Great! Nem cries in horror as she runs to Calm's side, but it's too late. His body is bent at an unnatural angle, his eyes open and his face frozen in stupefied horror. He looks unreal like a wax mannequin. He's just gone. Like that. Nem lets out a primal scream of pain, and you can see the thought ignite in her mind, contorting her face with ugly fury as she stands up to launch herself at the faceless again. Ah! You grab her arm and she yells at you in a wordless rage before collapsing to her knees, throwing her body over Calm's and sobbing like the scared teenager she is. You can only stand and watch.
Barbecue.
You hear a colossal cracking noise and look up to see the faceless creature stumble towards the stratospheric. With a roar that shakes your very molecules, it loses its balance for the last time and falls onto the ship. Metal screams as the ship buckles and gives way. Whole pieces of the quarter's wing shear off as your home opens like a tin can, spilling its contents into the square. The strato lurches, then collapses under the creature's weight. The abomination is slain, but as wails of grief join the whimpers of the dying, you have to wonder, at what cost? The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of the glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from the horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. Your mind keeps replaying that terrible moment, the faceless rearing up and obscuring the sky, Nem and her brother looking so small before it. Governor Udicott was killed by the smaller creatures. We lost 3! Oh my god. Governor Udicott was killed by the smaller creatures that swarmed command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. The council acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the faceless. Geoponics is gone, the greenhouse is destroyed, and the fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back where you started, it's even worse. Everything your mother sacrificed her for is gone in a night. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the creche. It's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that the people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives. Too many, including Governor Udicott. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Nem and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classrooms with the other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all so shaken. Nem cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. I was already in mourning! You bitch! You feel like you've been awake for days, and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercifully dreamless.
I'm already tilted and toxic, so it can't get much worse.
I'm gonna be done now. All done with this game. I know it's hard, Cal says, fiddling nervously with a tassel on his shirt, but I just think, what would your mom do right now? She wouldn't complain, that's for sure. It's been hard to talk to your dad about everything. Losing your mom, then losing the colony right after. It's too much to take. Neither of you know what to say. Tangent frowns. I just don't understand, she says. Why now? Why does it keep getting worse? Mars crosses her arms and sulks. What's the point of having all these kudos if I can't actually use them to, like, buy stuff we need? Like, hello, it's not like I can mail order more supplies through the wormhole. Engineering is crammed with the families and what belongings they've salvaged from the destroyed living quarters. You could spend time in your crowded temporary lodgings in the classroom or help the adults try to fix things. The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after the other. You still have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day you wake with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger comes in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the wall. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it or into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin patching up the wall. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. Walls didn't help anyone the first time, he grumbles whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed off too. By the end of the month, you've made a noticeable amount of progress. There are other priorities and not a lot of construction material, but when last year's mushwood harvest is done drying out, you'll be able to do more. Even if Diz is right that it didn't help the first time, it's better than doing nothing. Doesn't really feel like winning. The suns finally dawn again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon as the wormhole recedes across the sky. Dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping like most people. It's hard to find rest crammed into the classroom with all of the other kids and their families. And every time you close your eyes, you shake your head to clear the memories. You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Not your blanket, that one's gone. And stare out as the sun rises on the horizon, meager and sickly. Hey, kiddo, you here? Then your dad comes and sits down beside you. I was looking for you. Nice view, huh? At least we got a rooftop patio out of the deal. He laughs a little at his own joke, then just sort of trails off with a sigh afterwards. He puts his arm around your shoulders, and you sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all of the broken glass, littering the fields, glimmering like a field of stars. Neither of you really knows what to say. It's clear your dad feels like he has to give you a pep talk, but there's an oppressive nature to the silence that makes it feel impossible for either of you to start. Eventually, he just sighs and his shoulders slump. I know things seem pretty bad right now, he says, squinting into the sunrise. It sounds like it's taking all of his effort not to cry. But it'll get better. It has to, right? You're not so sure. At least your mom wasn't here to see this, he mutters. That's the silver lining, I guess. You watch the sunrise together for a few more minutes. After a bit, your dad musters up a brave smile and pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. Happy birthday, my little rutabaga, he says. You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion, the one your dad made with a sun on it to represent the earth, was broken during the attack. In all the chaos, you didn't even notice, but your dad did and made you a new one. It's just like you remembered, a similar design with a wormhole this time to represent Vertumna. You thank him and squint out at the swirling wormhole still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Your dad slaps you in the back. What a birthday, huh? Here's hoping they all get better from here. You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen where they've put up temporary roofing with whatever with whatever tarps and scraps could be found. The colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne has coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars. Life-sustaining, but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in sody silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Chief Administrator Seek has taken over as interim governor until the council can elect somebody new. Last week, they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the Stratospheric's destroyed front half into a memorial shrine after everything useful has been salvaged. There's still so much to do. I tell you what, this game got very sad very quick. And I know, it's supposed to make you sad. It's supposed to, you're supposed to make the wrong choices the first go around. There's still only one place to really do anything. This wretched planet, Mars grumbles, gazing at the wreckage of the Stratospheric. That was my ship.
Oh, no.
Tangent paces outside of the engineering wing, the only building still standing. With everyone living in here, there's barely enough room to think. It's been hard. Okay, yeah. Diz is sitting on a pile of rubble, looking out over the colony wreckage. He doesn't look particularly sad. What do you want? Wow, bitch. Guess we're just gonna keep rebuilding. You're assigned to help out in geoponics. The agriculturalists have been hard at work trying to salvage what they can of the ruined fields and the destroyed greenhouses, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Your dad has taken over as chief cultivator. Succeeding your mom was already difficult for him, and now there's this. He's never been the kind of guy to hide from hard work, but he's been pretty distant lately. Cal's working in geoponics too, of course. He smiles when he sees you. Hey, Solane, there's lots of stuff to do. What do you want to work on? The pens only suffered minor damage during the attack. Weirdly, most of the damage seems to come from inside the pens, as if the normally tame animals had been stirred into a frenzy. Tangent is also here, though it's not to help hammer and nail things. She's studying the animals, trying to figure out what could have influenced them. She takes blood and hair samples and readings with some sort of complicated brain scanning device. Interesting is all she says, not explaining her findings to you or Cal. Everyone is worried that this will be the final nail in the coffin for your food supply after the famine last year. You try not to think about it too hard, instead focusing on what you can and focusing on just doing what you can to help rebuild. You're eating in the mess tents when you hear something rumbling.
Yes.
Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire.
If I do, let me know automatically.
You join the crowd of people, leaving your temporary structures to gather in the colony square. People are squinting up into the milky quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurtling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've already been through, a meteor is gonna land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all? Mars grabs your shoulder. It's another ship, she exclaims. Look, look, it's another spaceship from Earth. Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? You stare up unbelieving at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear a whistle of it rippling through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. That is not a controlled descent. It's an enormous ship coming right at you way too fast. The ship's reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throw your arms over your head, and squeeze your eyes shut. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geoponics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. You're thrown to the ground from the force of the impact as shrapnel and small rocks zig past you. It grinds along like some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding places, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The new ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out stenciled letters. Heliopause. Us. Hi, Tommy! You did. You got the first redeem. There you go. No one else got it. Welcome to stream. Things are bad. Things are very bad. My mom died. And the governor died. And my friend's older brother died. And everyone's dead. And now a ship just crash landed next to us and destroyed what was left of the fucking fields we had. Thank you for the hearts. A hatch opens and it's in its side and silhouettes begin to emerge. Silhouettes with guns. It got worse somehow. I'm laughing because I really and genuinely nearly broke down earlier. Because the whole game was like, oh, hey, you remember how everybody can die? Here's a whole period of time where the game focuses on grief. And I really, like, in real life, just went through that, like, last week. So it was a really bad timing. But, you know, I chose to play this game because I've been enjoying it. And unfortunately, that's just the way that the world works sometimes. You get unfortunate timing in games. Oh, that one's really cute. Your heart is also really, really cute, but the frog is I'm partial to frogs. I got a frog sitting on my desk. I'm just gonna hold this here while we go through the rest of this, actually. Because somehow it got worse.
Key got unbound. I don't know why.
Yes. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all of the remaining colonists. More soldiers form two parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest. A lone figure strides down the center towards you. Greetings, fugitives of Earth, the man says, spreading his hands wide. A dismayed murmur ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him. I am Commander Lum, he says proudly. As captain of the Heliopause, I have come to render aid and bring you to justice. Seek steps forward out of the crowd. You're not the commander of the Heliopause, they say firmly. Governor Udicott was expecting Commander Morikawa. Everyone is surprised. Udicott has been in communication with this ship. For how long?
If you went in with me, you would have did anything.
I am captain of the Heliopause, Lum repeats stubbornly, then adds, according to the chain of the command. We, sustained significant loss of personnel when we went through the wormhole. I bet. I believe it. You can't help but notice many of the soldiers exchange looks this time. Ugh. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander. As the commanding officer, Lum continues, I declare this colony to be under our protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth.
Not good for what we're doing.
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh boy. Seek bows. Now, they stammer, there is no need for dramatics. We're a diminished colony, as you see. Governor Udicott died in the most recent attack, and Fluorescent passed away a few months ago. Even Technician Haliotosis is gone. You see, we're quite leaderless. Wait, your mom? What would these Earth cops have wanted from your mom? You notice Chief Engineer Instance is being held with her arms behind her back. She glowers at Lum with unbridled hatred.
The headshot it.
Lum turns to the assembled colonists. Well, why don't we fix that, he declares. Say hello to your new governor.
Why are you staring
You
at
hear
the
a few
wall?
gasps of
That
shock and
actually
outrage, and
is
Lum
you.
raises his hands placatingly? I don't know how this C is pronounced. Let's not pretend you don't need our help, he says. We could simply arrest you instead, but there's no need to demoralize your little colony further. Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. No one knows how to react. New governor from Earth, newly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers. What does this mean for the colony? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back into the Heliopause, presumably to talk about the future of the colony. You hope. You track down your friends. So what do you think about these new people? Mars asks. I don't know. It's one of these two. Gonna boss us around, or I don't want to share.
It was literally staring.
They're
at
just
the
gonna boss
wall
us around.
as I came running toward me.
Tangent nods. They don't live here. They don't know what it's like, and they're just gonna swoop in and act like they're better than us. She hugs her arms around herself. Did you see what they were doing to Instance?
I don't know.
The entire colony, now twice as many of you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the Heliopause, tearing it down and combining it with the Stratospheric's remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the Heliopause aren't like any people you've ever met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony or for your future. This isn't exactly how I expected this one to go. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around this new ship, the Heliopause. The new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives.
Really just put like bird hawk you in.
Together, you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunkered garrison. The Stratos Engineering Wing is the only reminder of your old colony. The Heliopause brought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as a rich seed bank and working hydroponics. Finally, an end to the slow starvation you felt for years. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. A full stomach, a roof over your head, and a promise of safety convinces most Strato colonists to accept the Helios. In turn, the Helios decide that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide that they aren't so different, really. There are even little Helio children born amongst the stars just like you. After a month of hard work, you and your dad move into your new quarters, and you have a bedroom for the first time in your life. You place a picture of your mother on the shelves beside your bed. You step out onto your very own balcony to watch the new colony, its grounds bustling with so many strangers and strange new ideas. You feel something rising in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope. Excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. Oh, great. Everything's changed. There you go. Who are you? They're so cute! You've seen Nomi Nomi around since the heliopods landed. They're around your age and barely 1.5 meters tall, only coming up to your shoulder. You've never seen anyone dressed as strangely as they do. Hi! Their voice is high-pitched and quick. I'm Nomi Nomi. It's short for nomination. They do a little twirl and bow. You introduce yourself and ask what they do for fun. Well, kind of a bit of everything. I like designing outfits and reading manga and learning about dinosaurs and cool xenofauna and robots and aliens and watching anime and playing Laser Fable, of course. Mostly lately I play Laser Fable. It's so fun to play it outside in the great big endless outdoors. Nomi Nomi dances around you in a circle, waving their arms and gesturing at your surroundings. You're on! Nomi Nomi helps you install it on your holopalm and explains the rules. Laser Fable is an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off of real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you're running around and bumping into each other, and there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers.
Guys either got or was fucking cheating, so. I guess if I play support, maybe. Yeah, we just keep losing, then we'll go play everything, maybe. I mean, that guy was top 500 at one point, so whatever that is about, it's good. That's the same team, besides that guy was top 500. Yeah, that was a guy. Those are guys were running us, so I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Oh, right on, sister. Nomi gives you a high five and then a couple of quick flicks on their gauntlet, giving you kudos for winning. They explain this is how they always play Laser Fable with the kids from Heliosphere. Except they mostly don't want to play anymore. They say they're too old for it. They just want to be soldiers now. Except Rex, he's still cool. Want to make something? Nomi flaps their hand in front of their face. I do, but it's so hot on this planet, don't you think? You shrug. Sure, it's different than living on a climate-controlled spaceship, but you're kind of used to it by now. Nomi snaps her fingers. Wait, we should make something to stay cool. You and Nomi brainstorm all sorts of weird and wonderful ways to stay cool. Umbrella hats, sunglasses with funny shapes, giant vats of cooling goop, but it all seems too complicated. Eventually, you end up doodling on some of Nomi's paper and folding it to make paper fans. Sometimes the best solutions are the most simple. They smile, fanning themselves with their new Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform fan. It's so cool you guys have people who aren't boys or girls too, Nomi says, twisting a long piece of their hair around their finger. Mom and Dad told me that sometimes people on old Earth didn't understand stuff like that, and your ship left Earth before us, so maybe it was worse. So maybe it was even worse then. They give you a bright smile. But they were worried for nothing. Everyone's so nice here. What's up, Nem? Nem doesn't notice you approach. She's focused intently on reading the documents on her holocom, chewing on her nail as she reads through the small print. She jumps when she sees you, looking momentarily guilty. Oh, hey, Selene, I was just looking over some stuff. The Helios have all these documents you have to sign if you wanna... She trails off, biting her lip. I'm gonna sign up to join with the Helios, she says, hesitantly. But there's a part where if you're under 18, you have to have a parent's permission just to sign up as a reservist, and... Nem looks down at the ground and scuffs her shoe in the dirt. My mom's gonna be so mad, she mumbles. So mad. Like, she's probably gonna cry, and it'll be this whole stupid thing, and, she takes a deep breath. But I gotta do it. I just gotta do something. This is a bad idea, Nem. Nem sniffs and rubs her nose with the back of her hand. Maybe. Maybe it's a real bad one. I don't know. But I can't just sit around and do nothing. The next time those aliens come, I want to be ready for them. I'm not going to get caught off guard again, Anemone says, setting her jaw. When they come back, I want to be able to fight with everything I got. No one else has to die like Com. Nem gestures angrily to dismiss the holoscreen and puts her face in her hands. She crouches down small, pressing her head against her knees, and takes an anguished breath. Goddamn aliens, she says. Bunch of dumb, dinosaur-looking assholes. You don't have to do this. You tell her that there are other ways to help besides fighting. She stands up and rubs her eyes. Maybe, she says, but this is my best option. I'm not gonna let them take away anybody else. Who is that kid? Grumpy-looking ass. I do notice that I have not seen Diz yet, and I wonder if that's just me not having explored far enough, or if he... Oh, there he is. It takes a long time to find Diz today. When you do, he's hiding in the bed of one of the transports used by expeditions. Don't make me go home, he says, pulling the dust tarp over himself. It's so crowded, I can't hear myself think. Okay. Hey, Dad. Even though it hurts, you find yourself wandering over to geoponics. It feels not good to be here in the place your mom loved and ultimately gave her life to, but not good either. It feels like when you have a bruise and you can't stop yourself from pushing on it because the pain reminds you that the injury is real. Like your mom dying is this huge invisible wound, and poking at it forces you to feel something instead of just being numb. Your dad is taking time off of work. Your parents worked double and triple shifts over the growing season this year, and now that it's over, it feels so cruel. When people work hard, they should be able to look back on what they did and feel proud. Instead, there's just this huge gap where your mom should be. You find your dad sitting in your mom's personal garden. It's miraculously starting to grow again, despite being trampled flat during the last attack. And neglected during the famine before that. Still, various Vertumnan flowers are starting to sprout, as well as hardier earth ones like dandelions. Your dad looks up and musters a smile. He pats the bench beside him. You false start a few times. It's almost impossible to think of something to say when there's this magnitude of grief between you. He gives you time. When it's obvious that you want to talk but don't know what to say, he takes your hand in his two larger ones. Did I ever tell you about how your mom and I started dating? You shake your head. You know they grew up together in the first colony on Earth, but nothing about their relationship. He smiles and looks at the garden as he remembers. I always thought she was too cool for me, he says quietly. Things were... well, people didn't like us much on Earth, so she was always kind of a bruiser. Always ready to pop off even when she was your age. She and Rhett were the same back then, he reminisces. I always thought they were going to end up together. And your mom got injured when the first colony was attacked. I was working part-time in the clinic, and I guess that's when she realized I liked her. We had to apply to get on the Stratospheric, he continues. We'd only been seeing each other a few weeks, so I was surprised when she said we should apply as a couple. They wanted all kinds of family groups. Single people, couples who could have kids or couldn't, triads and quads. But we all had to be young, and there weren't that many teenagers willing to commit to being, you know, a mated pair. It upped our chances of being picked. He laughs and scrubs his face with his hands. She wanted to get off that planet more than anything. I don't think she realized she'd fallen in love with me until we were already in space, he says wryly. Lucky for me, right? Your dad shakes his head fondly. There aren't many people like your mom, kiddo. You nod, surprised to feel a tear trickle down your cheek. There's so much you don't know about her and what she was like more than just being your mom. It's really hitting you that she was a person before you knew her, and now you'll never know her like that. There's a past you'll never fully know, just like there's a future that she never will. Your dad puts an arm around your shoulder, and you sit like that for a long, long while. More? Oh, hello, my little tomato. Your dad's voice rings out across the field, hale and hearty. You don't have it in yourself to be embarrassed, not during pollen. Not with the memory of him struggling to breathe so fresh in your mind. Are you coming to check on your old man? He teases you. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and lets it all out comfortably. I'm doing great. No congestion, no sneezing, and I definitely don't want to take a hike outside the walls. Your dad pulls you into a big hug, ruffling your hair. He smells like sunshine and dirt and sweat, and you've never been happier to breathe it all in. He's alive. I'm proud of you, he said quietly. You can pull off miracles, kiddo. Well, at least my dad hasn't died. Your dad is doing some maintenance on your mom's private garden. I can't believe she put some native plants in here, he says, wiping out his face on the back of his wrist. We used to argue all the time about wasting geoponic resources on them, but look, here. He shows you where some green vines are climbing up the same trellis as a bobbler fruit. Even she was coming around. Help him with the animals. Your dad is helping two bristle lugs who have gotten tangled on each other while, well, maybe they were wrestling. Your dad doesn't want to go into details. Yeah, wrestling. He helps up the larger one, and you carefully pull apart their bristling spikes, being careful not to get jabbed yourself. 10 minutes later, they're back at it again. The heart wants what it wants, I guess. Is this a cat boy? Is this a motherfucking cat boy? Does he have heterochromia and cat ears? If I click on this child and this is a cat boy. The colony is full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see a stranger. It's disorienting after growing up in a closed spaceship. You never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertumna. No, I think I'm wrong. I think this might be a dog boy. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof. He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off of you and giving you a wide, fanged smile. Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopause. You think his name is Rex. Adorable. This is a dog. This is literally a dog. Hi, hello, wow, hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Selene, welcome to Vertumna. Should I be awkward? Or should I be just, like, very 100% in? His shirt, what is this? What is going on? His colors match my colors. You stick out your hand and shake his and he laughs. You notice that he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Pleased to meet you, he says. I'm Rex, and I love to shake a paw. I know a ton of tricks. Oh, no, he winks. His augment is just having doggy ears? That's his whole augment? Can he hear better? Who decided to make a dog boy? Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you could help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job. For you? Anything. I'm flirting with the dog boy. I am, in fact, flirting with the dog boy. I'm sorry. If it had been a cat boy, I might not have. But a dog boy is genuinely not very common. Cat girls? Absolutely. Dog girls? Even then. Cat boys? Happens a fair amount. His eyes widen as you wink suggestively and he grins, wiggling his ears and lolling his tongue out like a dog. So adorable. I don't love that they're really going in on the animal characteristics, though. I might just take you up on that, he says. You tell him everything has changed a bit since the heliopause landed, but you think the construction yard is still near command? He thanks you for the directions. Rex hasn't gotten used to life on the surface yet. You remember your first year here. Vertumna seemed so enormous, so full of danger. Well, it still does, but the shock eventually wore off. Rex still has the slightly bewildered look on his face every time he walks outside and the sunlight hits his face. I'll want to give you a flower. Oh, it's his birthday! Rex accepts your gifts with a smile. Aw, how thoughtful of you to bring me a birthday present. And you know what would make this even better birthday? He sweeps you up into a squeeze before you can protest. A great big hug! Hugs! Ah, yeah, Rex exclaims, wrapping you in a strong bear hug. He even lifts you off the ground a little. It's a good hug, the kind that makes you instantly just a little bit more relaxed. And I only hug him the once. Okay. What are we gonna do without Udicott? Mars muses, sniffling into a tissue. Without a governor, we're totally lawless. What if someone tries to take my stuff? The most important thing is herself. This new boy from the heliosphere is a couple years older than you. He's very handsome, and the missing arm gives him a heroic, battle-scarred vibe. He stands tall and ready for action, even though it's just a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. He sees you staring, gives you a curt nod. My name is Vase. Lieutenant Olivacious, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge in his eye. And you are? How do you introduce yourself? I'm an explorer. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says with the air of a boy who's hard to impress. Nice to meet you, Selene. I hear it's been a rough couple years for the colony. Lucky thing our heliopause came along just in time, he continues. Don't worry, we have some of the best soldiers. The very best. We'll keep the colony safe. Are you one of those best soldiers? We train as a team, but Vase says and then clears his throat. Yes, I have won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual riflery tournaments, even competing against adults, he adds. I bet I could take you. He says doubtfully. Well, you're welcome to try. I hope to see you at self-defense classes. I don't want to flirt with him. He seems like kind of a dickwad. I think that's everyone. What is this? Oh, it's command. I see.
13, 12. The one game me and TT were winning, our teammate left after he died once. It was really cool.
Wild. The Helios have replaced the old garrison dojo with a huge underground bunker. It's much larger and better supplied and abuzz with activity. Soldiers drilling, weapons being cleaned and inventoried, and animals herded into cages for study. You can't believe how many soldiers are down here. It must be the safest place on the planet. I want to try to get my organizing up.
Zach thinks you're disabled because of
Should be over here in command. That's organizing and persuasion. I do wonder.
There's a guy earlier holding an angle by staring at the wall.
I think that's like the only good place for organizing. The back storerooms have been a mess since you started working in the depot, but now they're an absolute quagmire. Ever since the heliopause landed and they combined the warehouses for most ships in a hurry, your storeroom has been overflowing. Nobody can find anything in there. Mars refuses to even set foot in there anymore, so I guess it's up to you. The worst part is the Helio and Strato use different barcode systems. You'll have to input everything by hand and come up with a way of organizing them into grouping that makes sense. At least it's all on your holopalm and you have lift bots to help physically move the boxes. You can organize it all by moving icons around on your screen, just like a holopalm game. That's not great. Oh well.
I don't think they are used to been, but fuck are these people?
That was the best score I could have gotten. You start organizing. Green things over here, round things over here, things with stripes over here. Wait, where does the sports ball go? It's all three. Did you start a sporting goods section? At the end of the week, the storeroom is spotless. Everything has a perfect place. There's even space to walk. Seek and Mars take in the majesty of your hard work. You've done remarkably well considering the state it was started in, Seek says. They punched in something on your holopalm. This deserves a raise. Increased rewards for working in the depot. Also, fun fact, this little boxy thingy is from another one of Finji's games. The developer of this game, and the developer of Night in the Woods.
That piece was fucking putting me through the ringer.
Even Mars is impressed. Wow, she says. I don't know where everything is, but I feel like I understand how to find it. How did you do that? Seek gives her a strange look and she just shrugs. What? Sometimes it's cool to put in a little extra effort, even if it is just some dumb boxes.
That makes it a hit.
Hell yeah. Oh, hey Mars. You approach Mars, who's deep in negotiations of some kind with Tangent. When Tan sees you over Mars' shoulder, she points out and says your name. Thank you, forces of chance and chaos, Tange mutters, slipping away as Mars' attention turns to you, motherfucker. She's your problem now, Solane. Mars pretends not to hear her. Solane, she exclaims. You're looking hideous today, darling. Luckily, I'm doing makeovers and fashion advice. Free of charge. What's the catch? Mars smiles. No catch, she says smoothly. You just have to try on my new line of clothing and give me your honest opinion. Come with me, Mars says, directing you to her room. I've been working on these designs for weeks. They're fresh off of the printer, and I'm dying to see how they look on a regular person like yourself. Mars's room is a riot of sparkling fabric. My first fashion line is all about dressing for the seasons of Vertumna, Mars says as she ushers you inside. Yellow and angular for dust, airy and pink for pollen, stuff like that. If we ever make it back to Earth, I want to be known as the visionary who brought Vertumna home. That's a great idea. Mars shrugs. I know. Mars indicates the pile of outfits on her bed. Well, what are you waiting for? Chop chop. You try outfit after outfit, letting Mars scrutinize your silhouette and bearing. She seems genuinely focused on how the clothing performs. Finally, you finish trying on all the outfits. I think the glow jumpsuit is the winner. Go ahead and put it back on, Mars instructs. Then we'll do your hair and makeup. You sit on her bed as Mars pulls out her box of cosmetics. A day look, she asks, or something more bold for nighttime. Something flashy. Mars smiles at you with all of her perfect teeth. A woman after my own heart. I wear crazy makeup myself, so, you know, how bad could it be? Mars does your makeup efficiently, then pulls out a bottle of bright blue nail polish. One more thing and the look is complete. Mars paints your nails, humming tunelessly while she works, and voila, she says, when she's done. I don't want to flirt with Mars, she's really a bitch. This was fun! Mars smiles and caps the bottle of nail polish. And informative, I hope. Blue is definitely your color. Babes, my hair is blue. Like, no shit, it's my color? Wow, really? I'm gonna do one more round of working in the depot because I really want to get that next perk of organizing. OMG, Mars enunciates, drawing your attention away from stocking the shelves. Did you see the new requisition come in? It's from Rex. I wonder what he wants, she says, scrolling through it. Oh, he's so hot. I hope it's something for me. He knows I like gifts, right? You pull up the requisition on your own holopalm and it's a mess. Rex has no idea how to fill these things out. At the bottom, under additional comments, he's written, LMAO, I'm sorry, I don't know if I did this right, help! You and Mars exchange looks. If you want an excuse to spend some one-on-one time with Rex, you'll have to fight her for it. It's your turn to stock the shelves. Thank you so much for helping this. I'll go pick that up in a second. Thank you so much for helping me with this, Soleil, Rex says when he comes in, looking at you with big, helpless eyes. He rests his hand lightly on your forearm. I've never really done this before. It's just a lot to take in, you know? This is a child! He's 16, but this is a child! He is a minor! I have to put myself in the shoes of, I am playing this 15-year-old child. It's very strange, though. Don't worry, we'll go slow. Rex snickers, delighted that you continued the innuendo. Okay, thanks. Unable to stop herself from spying on you, Mars resorts to stocking shelves nearby. She makes a gagging noise.
Fucking god. I just literally died. Peeked for half a second, instantly died.
There we go, I got a perk. Draw an extra card at the start of a challenge. Affect stacks. I have a lot of kudos. Anything I want to buy? Not really. I think if animals goes up if I'm over here, I want to do this. Because I'm...
Red Hawk.
It does not. It almost goes up somewhere. Over here, perhaps? It's just +1. I guess it's better than my other options, though.
Person against the last team.
Or I could just chill. You use the uninterrupted time up on the walls to catch up on some schoolwork. Attending class isn't mandatory after a certain age, but if you want to be able to get into one of the more specialized career paths, you're expected to do at least some independent study, even if you're not attending classes. Nice. Alright. I think I'm gonna leave what I want to do for next time I stream this. Because I wasn't expecting everything to happen as it happened, and I am just a touch, just a tad, a little emotionally exhausted. It's not great that they really chose to, like, dig in their heels with, like, we're gonna do, hi, Crystal! It's not really great that they chose to dig in their heels with the, like, we're gonna really focus on motifs of grief, and I'm like, oh, cool. Thanks. Really needed that. How are you, Crystal? I'm gonna talk to everybody I can before I hop off here, but... Just the person I was hoping to see. Your dad jogs over with a sunny smile. Hey, you want to get your hands dirty? Well, more dirty? I'm
I'm good. You?
doing better than I was last week, but I wouldn't say great right now. Because, you know, this game really threw some curveballs at me today. It killed off my mom. My mom died, and then the governor died, and then my friend's older brother died, and then a bunch of new people came, and it was a lot to deal with very quickly. Yeah, it really was like, you know what we're gonna do? Just really dig in there and go for it and make you feel bad. It did do that. Just the person I was hoping to see. The survey team are bringing in a ton of animals we're working on domesticating, and we could use your help. You already know your way around a shovel, so I figured you wouldn't mind stopping by sometimes and giving your old man a hand, he said, pointing towards the animal paddocks. Cal's helping out too, so you'll have a friend to work with. And if you happen to be out with the survey team, keep an eye out for more animals to bring home. Sure thing. Your dad smiles. Great. See you there. You're living your best life through a character in a book? What book? Can I ask? Do share. I love good books. I have a book that I was reading and then I put down and lost the motivation to read. But I need to pick it back up because I want to finish it. I was just saying that I wanted to do animals. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I haven't actually heard of it. For some reason, Book Talk does not get recommended to me, ever, for some reason. I wish it did. I like books. The only Book Talk account I follow, though, is my cousin and sister-in-law's account, so I don't know. That happens. You're pretty good friends with Rex, aren't you? Vase asks, giving you a once-over. He must not like what he sees. I wouldn't go around telling everyone that. It might not work out great for you. Just a bit of friendly advice. Hey, we're gonna fight! They suggest a classic Helio test of grit, punching each other in the stomach until one of you gives up or passes out. It builds character, he says, taping up his knuckles. His bicep glistens menacingly. Did any Helio ever think of putting a piece of metal under their shirt, though? Clang! Vase's punch reverberates through the courtyard, and he yowls and cradles his fist. He's surprised at first and angry at his pain, but when you pull the sheet of metal from your shirt, he bursts out laughing. I win by default, he snickers. Don't be such a coward, Solane. Take it like a soldier. Still, you didn't get punched in the stomach, so that's a win in your books. And I don't think I can do anything with... Oh, I can do something with Nem. I'm gonna do that real quick, because I will forget to do this next time. So freaking good. Okay, I'll add it to my list. Nem suggests you practice some hand-to-hand combat, then kicks your butt in the absolute most literal sense. She leans over while you're lying on the floor, completely gassed. You okay? She laughs. I didn't go too hard, right? I can't do anything with... You and Nem watch a unit of Helio soldiers jog by with Vase in the lead. Did you see that guy, she says when they're out of earshot? He's kinda hot, right? No. 0%. Ooh. I very rarely read physical books. I love checking out ebooks through my, like, libraries app. Okay, so combat of 80 or higher, and I can fight either of... Or toughness of 80, I can fight with Nem. I will never have the... hug. Rex folds you into his arms, bending his whole body to you. He smells warm and a little spicy, like clean sweat and sunshine. It's a good hug, the kind that makes you instantly just a little more relaxed. I don't have biology high enough to do this thing. It's 40. I think I need 80 bravery to do the thing with Diz. Not that I know where he is. Yeah, these are all way too high. I can't do any of them. Alright. I am gonna go ahead and wave my hands. All done. This is all done in sign language. Or at least it was all done in sign language when I was a baby, and that's how my parents taught us to say we were all done with shit. Because if I keep playing and another person dies, I'm not gonna want to play this game on stream again. So, you know.
He said, I don't speak English.
Gotta let it end sometime. Thank you guys for hanging out. I will be here again on Friday and Saturday, and Friday's gonna be Overwatch. Saturday, I'm not sure yet. Probably gonna be Genshin. We'll see, though. Next week's streams are probably gonna be a little weird. I might be doing a really long stream next Saturday. We'll have to see.